guys, Portal Master 9351 here, and in today's video, I am going to be breaking down the Skylanders Academy Season 2 trailer. It was a minute and a half, but it was jam-packed with all kinds of information about the second season, and I know that there was a lot of stuff to take in, and there were probably a lot of things that you missed, so I'm going to be doing my best to point out all of the important things that I was able to find in the trailer. The first one that is actually important is only like 1 second in, a split second right after the Netflix intro. We see in this opening shot of Skylanders Academy, if we look all the way over in like the rightmost side of the academy, we can actually see Persephone's treehouse there. Now, I'm not sure if it has always been there in Skylanders Academy, but for sure it is there now, so possibly Persephone could be making some kind of an appearance in this show, since her treehouse is actually represented in Skylanders Academy. There's not that much more actually through this first little bit, because a lot of it's just that, little interview section, but by the time we get to 20 seconds in, we do see an interesting thing. It's when Spyro is looking at a book trying to learn more about his dragon ancestry. We can see on that book that it is not a magic symbol. Spyro is a magic Skylander, and we would expect him to try to flip through a book about magic. Instead, it is a fire book. It is a fire elemental book, and that's really interesting to me because it shows that Spyro is actually trying to learn about multiple types of dragons, and it may even allude to the fact that, in theory, purple dragons in the Spyro franchise are supposed to have mastery over all of the elements. So perhaps we are seeing the first little bit of that actually show through. If we look at some of the books in the background, there's nothing terribly important there. I will point out, though, that there are no light and dark symbols in this entire trailer. So that's kind of a little interesting thing, that nowhere is there a light and dark trailer in the entire thing. So, if we go 23 seconds in, we can actually see a painting right behind Spyro's wings right before he goes into the book. We can't really tell what it is, but it is some kind of a painting, and it looks to me like it's some kind of a wing. So is it possible that this is another dragon of sorts that could be shown off later in the series, and it's just like, a very brief little teaser image of it? I'm not really sure. 24 seconds in, though, we do see a dragon whose identity is confirmed. That is Malefor, and the trailer later confirms it because the anatomy just perfectly lines up with that being Malefor, and also considering that Spyro says later on in the trailer, "I've never seen dragons like that outside of a book," it makes perfect sense. It's classic run-of-the-mill foreshadowing done right, so that is definitely Malefor being shown in that book. I will also throw in that those are gibberish. Those glyphs are gibberish. There is actually a Skylanders runic alphabet, and I was sitting here trying to translate that, but it all came out to gibberish. Now, it's possible that the runic alphabet cipher that I had found was not correct, and that isn't actually gibberish, but assuming that the runic cipher that I was able to find on Dark Spyro is correct, that is completely gibberish, and there's nothing really to that. But hey, at the very least, I tried my best. 29 seconds in, we can actually see a few more paintings. I was talking about that earlier. They're probably nothing, but at the very least, it's interesting that we're seeing this artwork thrown in there because it's blurry, but it's actual artwork being shown off in those paintings. It's not just, a blob or anything. There is an actual piece of artwork in there. It looks to me actually a lot like, concept art from the Vicarious Visions book that we've seen limited images of, but honestly, I have no idea. It could honestly be just about anything, if, in all honesty. There's nothing, very, for the next several, 30 seconds or anything, but by the time we get to 54 seconds in, we get to see that shot of Chaos, the Doom Raiders, and Broccoli Guy. And in that picture, we actually see Chompy Mage holding a picture of his Chompy puppet, and he looks all teary-eyed. So is it possible that somehow or another something has happened to his chompy puppet. Like, he doesn't have it at all, and he's got a picture of it, like, teary-eyed. It's like his wife just died, and he's, like, looking at a picture of his wife, like, crying over it. I mean, something had to have happened to the chompy puppet. I know that's kind of a depressing thought, but, like, yeah, something apparently has happened to the chompy puppet. I don't know what it is, though, but something has happened to it. If we go a minute and 2 seconds in, right before it cuts to the Hydra that Chaos is riding on, if we look right behind him, we see a couple of really interesting things back in the background above some clouds, and they appear to be islands. And now, I know you're saying, Portal Master, it's Skylands, there's islands everywhere. These look a little different. I don't know. To me, they just look colorful. They look like they're supercharger vehicles, to be perfectly honest with you, and we see some of those later on in the trailer. So it's possible that these are not just your run-of-the-mill islands. It's a weird shot to include them in anyways, plus they just don't look right, so I'm thinking that maybe they are the Skylanders, like, riding after Chaos or something like that. So there's a good possibility that that is, you know what that is. Of course, at a minute 3 in, we actually get to see the Hydra. This is, of course, the Hydra from Skylanders Spyro's Adventure, the boss fight, so it's really cool to see that that is coming back. Just in case you weren't aware of what it was, it is the Hydra from Skylanders Spyro's Adventure. Now, a minute 4 in, we actually get to see Ninjini for the first time in the trailer. And, you know, there's a lot of people saying that there's a possibility that she is evil in this because she appears to be cackling and it's just weird and out of place. Also, if you back up just a teeny tiny bit, you can see a tiny little bit of Stealth Elf looking up at her like in shock. So either Ninjini is like jumping out of this thing and surprising everyone and thinks it's funny, or she is like evil and there's, you know, stuff going on about that, and like Stealth Elf is trying to fight her or something like that. I'm not really sure. It's just kind of interesting. One more second in, we get to see the first image of the Fire Viper coming up out of its little ice domain. Not only do we actually get to see Sai, but we also get to see 3 new characters that haven't been shown before. We get to see Chill, we get to see Roller Brawl, we get to see Food Fight. I'm aware that Chill was in Season 1, and I think Roller Brawl 2, but I think this is the first appearance officially of Food Fight, so that's interesting, and this again does confirm that Sai is coming back. You didn't need me to tell you that, but I did want to point out that you can see Chill, Roller Brawl, and Food Fight, since, you know, those are characters, and it's cool to have them in here. Also, if you go forward a teeny bit, you get a little bit of a back shot of Wind Up, but you get a better shot in a few seconds later on. 1 minute, 7 seconds into this trailer, we get to get an awesome picture of Malefor rising up, and that does confirm that Malefor was that dragon that Spyro was seeing in that book. This is the shot where we saw those supercharger vehicles. A few days ago, there was some concept art released for the Season 2, and we got to see the vehicles, and we weren't sure where they were coming from, how they were playing a role. But this does actually, for the first time, you know, confirm that they go in these vehicles to fight Malefor, which is kind of cool, if you ask me. That better shot of Wind Up, that is 1 minute and 13 seconds in. That is basically the picture where Sai is charging into battle. We also get to see Bad Breath, kind of cool. I never liked Bad Breath, but hey, he's back there. And of course, like I said, Wind Up is there. You get a better shot of the others as well. You can definitely see Food Fight, Roller Brawl, and Chill, as well as the rest of the gang. 1 minute, 17 seconds in, you can actually see that it is apparently the core group that fights the Chompy Tower. Not Chompy Power, Chompy Tower. It is Jetpack, Pop Fizz, Stealth Elf, Spyro, and Eruptor, so I believe that this episode is going to be early on, as it is the core group that we're accustomed to, rather than the expanded group with Chill and Roller Brawl and so on and so forth. So I do believe that the one with the Chompy Tower will be an early episode. At least that's kind of what I think. There's one more thing. You get to see another brief action shot of the Viper, like doing its thing when Eruptor is fighting it at 1 minute and 23 seconds in. It's a very brief thing, and I missed it the first time, but you actually get to see the Viper flying through its little icy area, so it looks like there's going to be a pretty epic fight scene with that. A lot of people have been talking a lot about Malefor, but in all honesty, he's hardly shown in the trailer, and I think that's a good thing if you ask me. So there's not that much about Malifaux to talk about, and he's been like the main topic of discussion, but in all honesty, there are more important things in this trailer than Malifaux, being that we actually get to see that possibly Ningini is evil. We get to find out that Food Fight, Roller Brawl, and Chill are all featured in a battle against the Fire Viper. In addition to Sai, we get to find out that Persephone is possibly there. We get to see that Spyro may be actually exploring the lore of the purple dragons being masters of all elements. There's a lot of really interesting things, if you ask me. So that is it for the comprehensive breakdown of the Skylanders Academy trailer. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will have more Skylanders Academy content coming out as it is relevant, but that is all for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Portal Master 9351. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.